Last year, well, this year actually, earlier this year, 2023, in February, I got invited to a wedding that was going to happen in the summer in Iceland. To people I know in my world, Luke and Sandra. Luke I know very well, Sandra not less well, but I've known her a while now. And sadly, when it came to it, I just couldn't actually afford to go, particularly because of the wind and how much money my boat did not generate for me this year. So instead of a wedding gift, because I have a huge ego, I offered them a guide out in Fuerteventura on Fraggle Rock, and they accepted, no less, because they're same crazy like me. And it actually puts to bed a ghost from a previous trip with Luke where the wind just annihilated us. And I think his total sum of fishes for that week was one lizard fish, although that was almost a decade ago now. So out we headed to Fraggle Rock, a very special place. Not always generous. This time, I would say it did us all right. We had to fish quite hard to get results, which is standard for Fraggle Rock, and it takes a bit of adjustment because when you get there and you see that beautiful blue water, you just can't believe the fishes aren't going to be flying off onto your hook. It doesn't happen like that. You have to put in effort and understand it, and each time you go, you'll understand it that bit better. We learned lots this time. Mainly due to meeting Welsh international Joe Arch, who I'm not much of a bait angler, but Joe is literally an international bait angler, like to world class standard. And he gave us some heads up, which were very useful. First couple of days, we caught fish, lizard fish, file fish, little fishes that attack the lures and sometimes are fairly hooked and sometimes really aren't. Yeah, be careful with a file fish with one up the bum. It's potentially quite dangerous. But then one morning, we were working it hard. We were getting up very early, and fishing dusk and fishing lunch times. First night we did get that small brown that you just saw flash through, small brown stingray, which was one of the species list, but we definitely wanted bigger ones than that. The food, though, is all a bit hit and miss. You have to look for the restaurants, and don't rely that a restaurant you used last year is going to be good this year, because I'm not naming names. I'm not into ruining businesses, but we were very disappointed. There's one that's consistently good, and I will name that one. That's Gory in Caleta de Fusta. Spanish people cooking, and it's just simple cooking, and it's great. It's really good. Lot of problem out in Fuerteventura is you've got lots of expats trying to make businesses out there, and of course a lot of them do run restaurants out there, so very little Canarian cooking, very little indeed. We did find one place though that I would say their style of cooking was Canarian, and that was called Amores, and it was just the other side of the Marina Beach in Caleta de Fusta. See the little Quaker here, little green parrot. Oh my God, they're loud. That's what we used to have free flying around in Brighton Marina, but no longer. I haven't seen it for a while. I'm guessing something ate it because it was blue. House cat still out there, which is fantastic. Probably brought us a bit of luck because we kind of started catching a bit more when house cat turned up. Was it house cat? Yeah, it was really. We went to get top-ups on tackle up in Puerto del Rosario, which we all agreed is just a lovely, lovely place. Very authentic, absolutely the reverse of Caleta. And I think I've got a couple of trips booked where I'm staying in Caleta this year, but I think next year I'm actually going to look for accommodation up in Puerto del Rosario because it's so friendly, smiley with genuine locals and bars where they don't speak English and things like that. I love it. Chipmunks, not really chipmunks, or maybe I don't know. Striped ground squirrels, I heard. Sailors brought them back. And this is the morning we met Joe Arch. That's him with a houndfish, which is a kind of giant garfish. And you'll be pleased to know I'm about to go quiet to allow a bit of video to play, which is him actually hooking up in. Do you want me to go down for you?
Well,
you do that bit. You do that bit.
Okay.
You've got a gaff, have you?
Big long gaff.
Oh, like that, yeah. You on it, Paul, because I'm not a swimmer.
There's a landing
You go for it.
That's lovely, isn't it?
This looks impressive.
See where the twist is, Robin? Make sure it's just locked up tidy. No, halfway along the
Oh, yeah, this one. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good. Will you be releasing?
Depends what it is.
Sorry, Paul. No, it's fine.
Down there it is.
I'm going this way. I'm following.
Bonito. Bonito! No, it's him, no. Yeah.
Gotta go over.
That is, yeah, it's Bonito.
I wish we'd had one that size earlier. Taking or releasing?
Referring to the gas size
It's
there.
all tight anyway, Robin.
I think so. I always try to get one away. You come this way a bit?
Yeah, drop this way. Hang on. On the right swell we're getting. Hang on. Yeah, that'd be better. No. No, it looks bad. No, it's strong in length now. But it won't crack, yeah. Will crack. Yeah, it's tiny.
Can I kill the video? Ow.
Sorry.
The other one's got to make sure that's brilliant.
Forgot to say, how cool was that? I forgot to say that morning Sandra had lost a significantly bigger bonito than that, right at the edge. We all saw it. She'd beaten it. We were all gutted for her, but then just that very same, 20 minutes after that bonito, Joe had just gone, she caught that dusky grouper, which was one of the fish of the trip. That's so beautiful. So we celebrated with a meal out, and this is Gory's that I was telling you about, Spanish cooking, just simple, great Spanish cooking. Never, I mean, if I had to be fussy, I would say stick to the fish, yeah. So every morning we're getting up bright and early. This morning was a right result because, why was it a right result? Was it this morning? No, it wasn't. No, it absolutely wasn't. This morning, I'm trying to think what happened. I'm waiting for a picture. Oh, lots of B-roll. So what happened this morning was not a lot at all. A few lizards, things like that. Actually, I think this morning was the first morning that Luke started messing around with bread and freelining bread, and actually was catching the palometa and bogue. And this all links in because we got great advice from Joe about the bait fishing. That's what happened this day. So, yeah, we headed off to a spot that I must admit was quite testing for our, I don't think the car hire company that we use would be keen for us to be using this type of car on this road, which is why for the next trip in February, I've got a Jeep. Yeah, there's some places it's better to have a Jeep. But what that means is other people aren't going there, and we got this beautiful secluded spot that Joe put us onto. We thought it was a laugh at first. We thought it was Welsh humour because we went through so many moray eels. But it didn't really matter because things like this happened, like a beautiful kestrel, Canarian kestrel came and just kept an eye on us, make sure we weren't attracting mice. And then it happened. Luke rocked over, and probably the strongest of all the stingrays. It's a whiptail. It's not a whiptail. It's a bull ray. Very beautiful, actually. It's not the best shot, but it's really beautiful fish up close. Very long tail. The tail was dancing in the air, signalling. And it was a day of rays, really, because that night we went, cracked on to another very well-known spot, actually. I'm always nervous fishing the spot because you get those huge round stingrays, and for me, there's nothing more tedious than being attached to one of them. It kills the night. But this was all right. This was not massive brown. And then the next morning, that girl Sandra, she was amazing. She's just got inherent skills. She's Icelandic, so she's not scared to hold fish and things like that as well, which just makes fishing with her so much easier. And look at that, a cracking barracuda. And the first one, actually, that since 2014 that's fallen to my guys. They sort of vanished for the last decade, it seems to me. And now a few around. So it bodes well for February. It could be a spring of barracuda like it was back in 2014. Maybe there's some 10-year cyclic rule. Kalima, that's a Kalima sunrise when there's sand in the air. That comes with an easterly wind, which is still there to this day. Easterly wind, Kalima. Fishing was, like after that barracuda, we had some taps and then it really went off. So we went out for a wander. Supermarket here.
It's really it is.
Amazingly fresh fish. A lot of it farmed, a lot of it not farmed.
Farm gilts.
All of it is going to be good. They wouldn't let the Spanish, the Canarians wouldn't allow anyone to sell them crap fish. They might try and sell it on though, which was something we experienced. If they haven't had a great week, that the fish could still be called fresh and be tried and sold to you. Ravens, all the wildlife there is amazing, but these ravens are just each year I'm standing next to it, look, and it's so not phased. And again, I guess that's down to the conservation ethic on the island, and they're not considered vermin, so they're not, they're encouraged to thrive. Lovely birds, absolutely stunning. I'll do a bit more with this one when I go back, I hope. Maybe get him on my shoulder with some bread. Totally wrong for him to interact with humans, but that one's ruined already. Beautiful sunrises is a very big feature of the rock. Stunning. Wimbrel again, doing his thing. Lizardfish are another standard out there. That was fairly chunky. The last day was brilliant. So the last full day, I left the guys in bed and I went out early and confirmed that it was better they stayed in bed. If we'd have hooked anything decent, swells would have made it very, very difficult to land. So we went to this sort of shallowy place on a punt. I've been there once before, and I remember catching a big lizardfish there, but I remember it being really sheltered from the wind. So we went down there and had a go. But this is the first time we took 5 gram and 8 gram mighty minnows with us. And it was, for a little while, it was non-stop. And I guess if we'd have moved, I think effectively we probably caught all the fish, because these are all kind of territorial fishes. They were immature dusky groupers. These are combras. They're all, oh no. Immature dusky grouper. How beautiful is that? I'm pretty sure that immature dusky grouper. Luke did a little bit of research since we've been back, and he's going with that. So that's Luke and the lovely Tandra. And look how sweet that little village is behind us there. I would guess it's a very expensive place to live, because everything was actually to a very good standard and not at all run down, and it's just all beautiful there. So that tends to mean I can't afford it. Otherwise, why didn't I find this rock when it was just goats? This is interesting. These are porgy. They eat something on the reef and they become hallucinogenic or something like that. Lots of fun, very hard fighting as well, very challenging with their tiny mouths, but Luke nailed it with feeding technique. Another beautiful dusky grouper, maybe immature. Not sure, something doesn't quite look right, but lots of it does look right. And then that was us, really. It was time for the sadness of packing up and heading back. We had one last walk through to the Atlantic Centre where this stream comes out of a hole in the ground, a tube, and it's absolutely rimming, not just with mullet. If you look carefully, there's even things like dusky grouper in there, little tiny ones. Very immatures, and other fish, puffer fish, different types of crabs. It's actually an amazing spot to go and feed a bit of bait. That night we allowed ourselves, well, I think we even had a rum. Or was that the night before? But yeah, hardly drank anything this trip, like just a beer with dinner for myself really, and the guys, really nothing. It was much more about the fishing. This is the very, very last morning. You can see, classic, this one is the swell when it's washing the headland, it's washing all the marks. You can hook up from up above, but without a sliding gaff, you just wouldn't land anything, and a sliding gaff means certain death for everything. That was it really. Then up to the airport, no fuss getting on the plane. It all works pretty smooth up there. Our plane was pretty empty, no big queues this time. And for those of you that don't like flying, you can switch off now. And for those of you that do, I will let this run to the end. It's just the takeoff and then some quite nice views of the rock, which includes loads of ground I would love to look at and won't live long enough to do because there's not enough years left in my life. Like with everywhere I find, well, not find because it was never lost, everywhere I visit for the first time, I'm just like, why didn't I find this so long ago? Next one is 2nd of January, will be Portugal. Very excited for that. And that's a whole month I'll be out there, or 2nd to the 29th. Then back for 3 weeks, and then back to Fuerteventura, and then back for about 5 days, which doesn't make any sense at all, so I might not come back, and then back to Fuerteventura again. And then middle of March onwards, it's full on with Biff 1 once again, and no more foreign travel. So keep an eye on this site, have a look back if you want to see what we did or didn't catch in places that we go.